Welcome to another episode of the Dental Insiders with your hosts, Matthew Petchel and Michael Dunn. The Dental Insiders is a podcast for dentists, dental team members, and industry professionals. And our guest today is Travis Rodgers from drdds.com. Welcome, Travis.
Thank you. Always nice to talk to you guys.
All right. Well, hey, why don't we just jump right in? Tell us a little bit about your background, because I think today's podcast we're going to talk about email marketing, and depending on how the conversation goes, I think the title is maybe, best horror stories in email marketing.
Which reminds me, because I'm on a strict timeline right now because I have to get back to my email. There's a Nigerian prince that just needs my bank account to help, get some money, but I'll get a cut of it.
Okay.
So I want to make sure I get back to him, today.
I think maybe Travis can give us some insight on how you could probably do that on your mobile phone. And
yeah.
You won't even go back there.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll send you that account number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So give us a little background of what you've done, because I know you've got a lot of experience in digital marketing and the internet and email marketing and all that. So let our listeners hear about it.
So we, on average, been doing email marketing for the past 5 years to the dental industry. At the height of our marketing, we were doing about 2.5 outbound emails a month. So definitely some great horror stories, some success stories. Can talk about tips for success as well. So thanks guys for having me. And if we want to, we can jump right in. And I think what we want to talk about starting out was potentially even some of the subject line do's and don'ts and some of the horror stories that we have for subject lines.
So Michael and I, we both have, Michael's worked at manufacturers, and I've been at an agency and had to work with manufacturers. And there's always seems to be a lot of, smart people in the room who think they know
everything about everything.
So let's go through, and we thought this podcast would be a little less Q&A. Ours is normally a Q&A where we kind of unravel a person and get them nervous, and then ask them questions that make them feel uncomfortable.
But I think, I think today it's more, really a conversation around email marketing, because inboxes are so glutted and so full today, and quite frankly, full with a lot of poor messaging or bad messaging. And I think Travis, with his experience and what he sees every day and what his team is doing every day, can really share a lot of insights applicable to both people on the industry side and dentists about, just as you put it, do's and don'ts about email marketing.
Yeah, we could call this best practices. We call it do's and don'ts, but I think we're going to try to go with horror stories. So Travis is going to, I think, share his screen a little bit. So if you're just listening to the audio podcast, we'll try to walk you through some of the things that we're talking about. But if you have a chance to watch the video, it's on our YouTube channel, which you might be able to follow along a little better with the visual. But go ahead, Travis. Let's roll.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So we've all seen it. We've all received these emails, the Nigerian people asking for account numbers and things like that. The important thing is, no matter what you're doing, you got to keep it short. So again, lots of horror stories of people that want to basically put an entire email in their subject line, and no one wants to read that. No one wants to receive those. Trying to pack in their names. I think people are getting smarter as well about automated tools and the ability to personalize everything inside of an email. So putting people's names in the subject lines. Some of those cheesy tactics are just horror stories. If you're adding all that in, it's something to reconsider. So like I said.
Keep it short is a good one. You have a story of a client who had like 1,000 words in an email subject line?
Absolutely. Personalizing first name, last name, company they're with. The other part of keeping it short is you're less likely to get blocked by spam. So one of the number one things that these spam engines are looking at is the actual subject line. So suggest to not only keep it short, but do a ton of testing on those subject lines. Another suggestion is asking an open-ended question. So, again, the balance between being too cheesy and being, a relevant question. So understanding your target audience, understanding whether they actually would have that question or would have an answer to that question. We've had some horror stories where some of our customers have just asked completely unrelated questions, or they've given away random, unrelated products to the dental industry. So keeping everything you're doing related to the industry, related to your audience, etc. So
would a good example of that be, so if I had a laser company, which I don't,
Right.
but I could.
you should.
Yeah, that's can't be that hard. It's just nano wavelengths, right?
Yeah.
So like if I had a laser company, would a good subject line be, "Are you ready for your next laser?" Or is that too alluring to?
Or is that too close-ended? No.
Yeah,
That's
no, I'm
that's
not.
a little salesy, but yeah, I mean that's a potential.
So what
You know,
would be good? Like, did you know lasers are awesome?
laser yourself.
You ever been lasered?
Yeah, yeah. It depends on what the target audience is, but for the dental industry, you know, keeping it simple, and a lot of people these days are focusing on how they're being ranked by the dental advisor, or you know, everyone is or do you want the top ranked laser in the world, in the universe? You know, these bold statements, and everybody's on these different websites. Everybody's got 5 stars on all these websites. It's all who you pay off. So let's keep it relevant to who they are. And you know, some of the best ones that we've seen are actually want more patients.
Right.
You know, keep it simple, or want to fill your schedule.
Right.
You know, so those are the 2 things that we see the most. Is dentists want to, you know, finance things better. They want to fill the chairs, or they want to be more efficient. So.
Okay.
But in the end, it comes down to additional revenue. So, you know, something related to that. You know, it's sort of like going back to the concept of got milk or you know, got beef, right? Or got milk. So, you know, keeping it simple, keeping it catchy, but also keeping it relevant. So, you know, oftentimes we receive the emails. There's unfortunately so many internet fishers out there, people that are actually fishing to get links that aren't actually relevant to the content. So no matter what you do, you always want to include your company name. A lot of times people, though, when they do that, they'll actually put a link to their URL. So if you do a www dot inside of an actual email, and you will actually get caught by the spam filters and considered a fisher. So when you put your website in, put the actual words, our website or website, with the link embedded in that. That's a huge one for people. You can't put those www links in there, otherwise you're going to get caught by those spam filters. And that pretty much paid for the podcast right there.
All right, there you go. Yeah.
So anyway, include your company name. You know, you want to build trust, you want to build brand recognition, etc. I don't have a lot of great horror stories there. Normally people want to have their company name in their email. That's who they are marketing, right?
But has anybody ever approached you about putting a different name, just to whether it was a competitor's name or a different company, to try to get recognition that way?
Yeah, so one of our customers, the Dr. DDS, is the largest website design company in the dental industry. They do ongoing marketing with us, and they have multiple brand names, which they don't include the actual name that they market on their marketing booths and what they're really known for in the industry, which I think is a huge mistake, and I've tried to guide them down a different path. But you know, use the name, not just maybe you're known for the product name. So you got to include the product name. Think about what you're known for in the industry, why they want to click on this, why they're going to trust you. They already trust you, or they know you, because, you know, we found as we're building out new marketing campaigns for various dental vendors in particular, that those products and companies that already have name recognition, those are the ones that immediately get the impact. I mean, we did some marketing last year for a company that we actually helped them through the full life cycle, where we actually recorded the calls, which is always interesting to record calls. And they found that they actually had new customers renewing. They knew who they are, and you know, and the recognized name is such an important component for dentists in particular, as well as marketing to patients for dentists.
And so on the recording the calls part, is that something that you, it's not really part of email marketing. It's a much deeper kind of marketing tactic.
Yeah,
Is that something that you see as a trend that's growing? Because I know that there are
definitely.
services out there that do like a ROI, kind of a marketing ROI campaign, but I know it's really expensive on a monthly basis, expensive comparatively. And
Yeah.
but the results I've always found to be fascinating because they listen to the calls and then they can tell where did the lead come from,
Mm-hmm.
who answered the phone at the front desk, did she do a good job of answering the questions, did it turn in, and then you can track that customer
Right.
all the way through the end. And if that customer turns out to be let's say a high paying, a good customer that stays around and buy, does good services with you, then we can tie it back to all we gotta do is look back in the report, and they came in through that postcard that we did, which we weren't sure if that postcard ever brought anybody in, but turns out that postcard
Really worked.
So now we can stop paying Travis for email marketing because this is the postcard that works.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's for me, and it's really defining what drives the revenue. I mean, so it's full for us. It's the full life cycle of the sale. So we get more customers based on the revenue that they bring in. So we help them through the full sales funnel process as well. So not just the blasting. And there's a lot of testing and things like that. That's a longer conversation.
How important is testing? You mentioned testing a few times.
Twice now,
and
yeah.
I would guess the majority of our listeners they understand testing. I think we all understand testing. It's kind of like
Theoretically, I think
everybody's for
people get it and understand it, but how does whether I'm a dentist emailing to my patient base or to whatever database I use, or if I'm a manufacturer, what are the mechanics involved? How do I go about testing my subject lines?
Yeah, everyone should be doing testing. I mean, I suggest it comes down to laziness, honestly. You got a lot of lazy people that want to just send one blast out. They want to only build one, and they don't want to test multiple. Testing multiple subject lines is easy. Testing different content is harder because basically you have to go through and rebuild the content, what have you. So test both is the answer. I mean, there's tools out there. Any email tool should be able to do it well. If they're not, then give me a call. I'll let you guys know which ones are that will work better for you.
Cool. So, and when you say there are these testing tools, is it giving you a projection or an estimation of, for instance, of which subject line would be would work better, or are you actually sending them out to samples of a database?
So both actually. A typical testing process and delivery for us, we send potentially 4 different tests out to the same database. And if you're using the right tools, you can actually test them all out. And the one that has the best delivery to the small audience at the beginning actually auto sends to the entire audience.
Okay.
So yeah, there's and then there's also a ton of other tests and spam tests and bulk email checkers and things like that. One of the biggest things that people don't do that they should do is make sure the emails are good emails and clean out the bad emails and that type of thing. So yeah,
and make sure links work.
Yeah,
I've seen those too, where an email goes out and then the link doesn't work. It's how did that happen? Test it.
Yeah, I've seen where company has had an email and it looks like they're trying to link to a landing page, and they didn't realize that you actually have to have the landing page. You just can't put .com/something and expect that it's going to work unless you have something on that page.
Right.
I'm curious. I use Gmail. I know that a lot of people use Gmail. And any tips that you have for how do you get your email to land in my inbox and not the promotions tab? So it didn't go to spam, but it went to promotions. And I don't know about you, but I don't regularly check my promotions tab.
No, not as often. Yeah, again, that comes back to, in some of the tools we use, there's some robust tools like Email on Acid and Bulk Email Checker and some of these tools that are out there. There's a ton of tools, and happy to follow up and send you guys a list of tools that are out there to ensure that. But that's how we do it. There's no way. I mean, a lot of it, it's both an art and a science. I mean, as I've mentioned, we send upwards of, not anymore, but in the past, we sent upwards of 2.5 million emails a month. And a big part of it is actually the warm-up process of the messages too, as well. So what we do now is, again, it takes patience and it takes consistency, but the way you get it delivered into your Gmail inbox is warming it up to a smaller audience of Gmail folks, and then sending it out in larger chunks. And so kind of that having patience. You don't have to spray and pray and blast it out to, 200,000 people at one time. That's how it goes into the promotion. What you do is you take a methodical process of sending it to 300 the first day, 600 the next day, then keep doubling it until you get to the numbers that you need. And that message has been warmed up to that audience. So when, the spam filters look at it, said, oh, I've seen it a few places, but not 1,000 times today.
Right. Okay, cool. All right. What else you got?
Focus on the benefits, keep it simple, a lot of bullet points. In the dental industry as a whole, I mean, dental vendors and dentists as a whole are just very used to getting things for free. And dental vendors hate giving stuff away for free, but right. I have convinced almost all of my customers that, you want leads. I know you may think that somebody gets free stuff, that they're going to be a low quality customer. That's not true. You want leads. You want a warm body to either click on that email or pick up the phone and call you. And then it's your job to convert them to a higher paying customer, right? Right. So the dental industry as a precedent has been it's been set that dentists get stuff for free. Again, I've recorded calls. I've listened to them with my customers. I've tracked everything. And one of our customers, Hunza Dental, they sent out an initial email, nothing for free, and then they did a free instrument, simple, inexpensive for them, and they got about a 50x return on that marketing asset. So it was.
Wow.
It was unfortunately or fortunately, you got to give stuff away to free. Dentists get upset if they don't.
Promotions work.
Yeah,
they work so well. Gmail decided to
segregate them. Yeah,
to call that a tab inside their program.
Yeah.
All right.
So I know we talked about that. Filter language. I mean, exclamation points. Again, don't make it cheesy, but make it catchy. That's the key. And
So if you're talking about, you just said dentists like to receive things for free, but I know, sometimes in a subject line, free is a bad word as I look through my Gmail promotions tab and spam folder. So I guess that's the art part, right? Is you've got to get across the point that there's something for free if they take an action, but you just don't want to blurt out.
Well, you just spell free. It's PHREE.
Yeah.
There you go. Just like fat, huh?
That's right.
This is a fat promotion. No, but yeah, you definitely there's words. I've definitely spent a lot of time in the thesaurus with my customers on how you use different words, and again, good tools and good experience kind of lends you to free and anything financial typically gets blocked. So don't do that.
Yep.
Any kind of sales language as a whole. I mean, that brings us to the next point there. And then also, deceptive subject lines, keep it specific to what you actually do. Keep it, again, interesting, but no all caps either. That got popular for a while, and urgent and exclamation, stay away from that stuff. No one wants to, you lose trust in your audience, especially since I just told you as one of the first things, you want to put your company name on it. You got to be proud of it as well. So
shouting at your customer probably doesn't work.
No. Well, it depends. Some people are into that.
It works for some.
Yeah. Have a different conversation with my wife about that, but that's beside the point. So well, good stuff.
Is this white paper available on your website if people want to download it?
Yeah, it sure is.
Okay, so your website's drdds.com, right?
Yep, drdds.com.
Got it.
So maybe we should send an email to our listeners with all caps in the subject, free free white paper.
Free DDS, I think is what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Click here now.
Click here now, www.drdds.com.
Yeah, we're going to put the Henry Schein logo on the top, too, just to be even more deceptive.
Buy now. Yeah.
Buy now.
Yeah, let's do it. All right.
Free.
Yeah,
we have a couple other white papers for you as well. But, yep, that's a good start.
Very cool. So what is, we got to wrap it up because we're hitting our limit. We try to keep these nice and brief so people can listen to them in the shower. But what is number one best practice for successful email marketing? Maybe not necessarily as tactical and granular as the subject line or the whatever, but like what does everybody just need to just get with it and get to year 2016? Email marketing has changed in the last 2 years, in the last 5 years for sure.
Yep.
What's the best tip?
There are a couple things there. Number one is be patient. To take it through the proper steps of testing, of, ABC testing, of analyzing it. Give it to your children, see if they can make sense of it. Give it to your wife and see if it catches her eye. It's got to be catchy as well. So again, be consistent is another one. So I would say consistently sending over a period of time, not just small audiences, but we found it's about the third time that you send the email that you really get the return that you were expecting on the first email. So, it's hard to convince people if it doesn't get you the return on the first one, but it takes 3 times. And as we know, marketing, it's really 9 touches. So if a company doesn't know who you are, then you really need to probably send 9 before you're going to get that customer you're looking for. Right. So patience and consistency.
Good advice.
Well, I think our listener showers are over.
That's right.
I didn't realize that we were in the shower with so many people.
I'm certain we probably are. Okay, well, that wraps up another episode of the Dental Insiders Podcast. Please share this with your colleagues and friends. And we want to thank again Travis Rodgers for his insight and the fun dialogue on email marketing. It's important. It doesn't seem like it's going away, and we just all have to keep learning how to get better at it. So we thank you for your insight.
All right. Thanks, guys.